Welcome back to Weems Motor Co. We have an art project for you guys today. Stick around. So as you can tell, we have made a lot of progress since our last video when we were hacking up a gas tank for this. Well, that gas tank that we were hacking up, in the end, it just didn't work out. So we made this one and we are super stoked about it. A lot of cool details going on in that bike, and that's where we're at in this process, is all those fine little details that make a Born Free bike stand apart from the typical motorcycle that's riding down the road. Well, today I'm super excited to be able to bring something to the plate that I've never done before, and I'm going to show you guys how it's done. Now, little tip for you, little movie magic. I've already made one, and we're going to make the second one today on the episode. I just wanted to make sure that I could actually do it before I spent the money, spent the time, and recorded a video, and then in the end it didn't work out. So I've already been through that trial and error process, and we lucked out because we did it right the first time. So what are we going to be doing? Let me show you. That's right, we are going to be making a set of custom acrylic grips for Ultor, our Born Free 16 bike. Now, we took this material, ordered it up, got it on the lathe, machined it down, and did a lot of sanding and a lot of polishing to get it to this mirror-like glass finish. But we're going to show you how to do it right here on this episode. And we are super excited because this might be a little hint of the color scheme that we're going to be going with on the motorcycle. So let me show you guys what we start with and the process on how to make a set of custom grips for your cool motorcycle. That is, if you have the tools and everything to do it. So let's show you that raw material. So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a block of acrylic. Now this is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches by, I think it's 6 inches. And this material you can purchase from different vendors and stuff online, and they have multitudes of colors and schemes and glitters and all kinds of cool stuff. But as you see, we start off with a piece of square stock material that we have to make into a circle so that you can use it for grips, because square grips probably on some build might be acceptable, but most of the time we want something comfortable for our hands. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay out the center of this square on both ends, and then we're going to take our drill and put a little drill mark right in the middle so that we can head over to the lathe and we can mount this in between two centers so that we can begin turning down that outside square into a circle. So first thing to do, lay out the lines, get those holes or those little points drilled into them so that we can get it on the lathe. So let's lay this out. Now we got those holes. Well, they're not a hole all the way through, but just those little divots there. We can go ahead, throw this onto the lathe, and we can get it between centers, and we can start making this a round shape rather than a square. So let's get it on the lathe. All mounted up between centers. Now, something important to note here is that is a dead center in the lathe chuck, and this is a live center, which means the dead one only spins when the chuck spins, and the live center that's in the tailstock has built-in bearings, so it rotates, and we're not putting any friction on the material in the middle. Now, acrylic is a really soft material, as you've seen when we were drilling into it. So when we go to turn this outside diameter, we can be a little bit more generous on how much material we are actually removing, unlike a steel or aluminum or stainless steel or anything like that. So my plan is to take around, I would say probably about 50 to 100 thousandths. You might be able to go more, but it is square, so it's going to be a little bit choppy when we start to do this. So we don't want it to grab and then hold, and you know, God forbid we crack the acrylic because I'd have to order another piece. But I think we can make it happen with what we got here. So we're going to turn that down till we get the outside diameter to what we want for this motorcycle, and we can continue on by getting a hole into it. So let's make this thing round. We're almost there. We still have a few flats. Let's keep turning. Boy, if you could just smell that, it has a unique smell to it. Well, we have a full circle. Now we need to figure out what our outside diameter is going to be by measuring the other one that we made and making this one identical to it. So let's grab that other one, measure it up, and we can continue turning this thing down. To save time, we went ahead and turned that down to the same diameter that is on the other one. Now we need to go ahead and just trim off the excess length because we're not going to be needing this whole 6 inches. It would look way too big on your hands. So we're going to trim that down over on the bandsaw, and then we can get back onto the lathe and start getting this thing ready to be mounted up on Ultor. We got to bore a hole in it, then we're going to put little accents on there, and then we're going to do a lot of sanding and polishing to make it get that mirror finish. So let's measure it up, cut it, and then get back on the lathe. Let's do it. So as you can tell on the motorcycle, we have been using this ringed accent throughout the motorcycle. Some things you want to do to carry a theme through, you don't want to overdo it, but you want to have those accents in certain places where it's like, when the person's looking at it, they're like, I think I've seen that somewhere else. And they start discovering all of these intricate little details on the bike. Well, on the one that we built yesterday, we went ahead and we put those grooves around the end of the grip. Now, this acts as two things. It's a visual stimulation of some sorts, but it also works as a grip for your hand so it doesn't slide off the end of the handlebars. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put those 3 grooves into the end of this now that we have it cut to length. Then we go into boring the hole through so it can slide onto the handlebars. We're going to knock that out all at once. We'll put the 3 rings in, drill the hole, and we will get to the last portion, which is sanding and polishing. So let's get back to work. All right, now that we got that bored out to 3/4 of an inch, we know that our handlebars are larger diameter than that. On Ultor, we're actually running a set of 7/8 handlebars. I like the smaller, it kind of reminds me of the old dirt bikes back in the day. So we have to bore this 3/4 up to a little bit above 7/8 because we want it to be able to slide onto the handlebars, and then at the finals we can just glue it into place so that we know that it's not going to come off. But we want to make sure that we have that access. Now, I don't have a 7/8 drill bit, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't do that because drill bits aren't the most accurate. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the boring bar and we're going to open that up to where we just have probably about 10 thousandths clearance to slide this onto the end of the handlebar. So let's get the boring bar on there, start opening up that hole so we can get it done. Let's go back to work. All right, we got that hole bored there, got our ribs on there. Now the next thing to do is to make sure that it actually fits onto the end of the handlebars, because if it doesn't, then we got to bore it out more. So let's check it out. Oh, like a glove. Now, it fits on the handlebars it looks cool, and you could probably leave it like this, but it kind of has a dull appearance. So the next point in this process is to take this thing from looking all dull like that to make it shine like that. Now that's a process that is a lot of work, a lot of sanding, but luckily we have a lathe that we can put this in and use that as our rotational force as we go through the sandpaper. So let's get this chunked back into the lathe, and then we'll talk about what sandpaper to use. So I simply took a piece of 7/8 material that I had laying around, put a couple little ticks in it so that that would slide and hold, and slid it right into place. Now, it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure when it comes time to do sanding, because this, after all, is acrylic. It is a plastic, so it's really soft. That being said, there is a process in doing that. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be utilizing what I like to call foam backed sandpaper. Now, it's a foam, it's squishy, so when you put pressure on it, you don't have hot spots. It kind of absorbs those pressures. So if you're like holding your finger down in one place with sandpaper, it would actually divot because this material is so soft. So I like to use the foam back stuff. Now we're gonna go in stages. We're gonna start off with a 400 grit dry sand. Go simply all the way over it. Then we're gonna jump up to 600 grit foam backed sandpaper, and that should remove all of the scratch marks from the 400. Then we jump from there, we go to 1000 grit. 1000 grit removes the scratches from the 600. Then from 1000 we go to a wet sand. Now same foam back thing, but we use 2000 grit with water, and that really gets it start to shine and smooth out. The next thing to do is go to 3000 grit foam backed wet sand, and that's going to remove all of those impurities. And then there's one final stage that we'll talk about after we get to sanding, because we could talk about it all day long. If we don't get it sanded, it'll never get done. So let's start sanding. Great, right? All the way down to 3000 grit wet sanding, and it comes out nice, but it's not perfect. There is one last step that needs to happen, and that is polishing it. Now, polishing is a really fun process because it just seems to bring everything to life. So we're about to bring this grip to life, and you might be saying, well, how do you polish it? What do you use? Well, there's a bunch of different plastic polishes out there. However, I like to use this Blue Magic Headlight Lens Restore. Yeah, you know, your car headlights that turn yellow and look all weird. This is the same stuff that you use to polish those headlights out. So put a little bit of this on the cloth, and then turn that lathe on, and then just watch this thing come to life. Let's knock it out. That's how you get that glass-like perfect polished finish on acrylic. Now let's go through this one and the other one on Ultor, our Born Free 16 build, and wrap this video up. Let's go get them on. Man, that looks great if I do say so myself. Super excited to be able to show you guys how to take some acrylic and make some really cool custom parts for your motorcycle. Now I have a few pieces of that leftover material. I'm going to make some valve stem caps, maybe some carburetor adjusters, things to set this motorcycle apart when we bring it out to California for Born Free 16. But with that, we're gonna wrap up today's video. If you are new around here, jump down and hit that subscribe button. If you really like the video, hit that thumbs up, turn those notifications on, and let everyone know what's going on right here at Weems Motor Co. Peace. Peace.
We got